I'm Victor Blackwell.
And I'm Frederica Whitfield. Welcome to CNN's special coverage of the Superstorm Sandy. We want to welcome our international viewers as well from around the world. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time here in Atlanta, and we have reporters up and down the East Coast bringing us the latest developments all hour long and really into the night.
Yeah, and there has been no hype over estimates or anything on this one. Damage estimates are in the billions. Sandy is big. Sandy is powerful. And she is a killer. Already, at least 12 people have been reported dead in the U.S., 5 alone in New York. 5.3 million people are without power. 23 states are under high wind warnings or advisories. And CNN estimates that damage just from the wind alone could top $3 billion. And don't forget, the storm is already responsible for 67 deaths in the Caribbean.
And then take a look at this. This is a fairly typical scene right now in the New York and New Jersey areas. Roads flooded out, the water rising almost above the cars in some locales. Approximately 5 hours ago, this historic superstorm made landfall over the most populated areas of the U.S. Wind damage, power outages, storm surges, inland flooding, you name it. Even snowstorms are threatening the lives and homes of 60 million people, and that's from Virginia all the way to Massachusetts.
Yeah, and to show you just how strong the winds are, look at this. This is the crane. It's atop a luxury Manhattan skyscraper. Now it's 70 stories, going to go up to 90. It's a swing back and forth over West 57th Street, and nobody knows really how long this will hold. So let's get right to meteorologist Ivan Guerra. He joins me now with the latest on the superstorm. Okay, so where is Sandy right now? Where is she headed?
Sandy is inland at this point here, and just unlike a hurricane, good to be with you guys tonight. It's going to be a long one here. This is not weakening. Remember, when a hurricane makes landfall here, we start relaxing a bit. The storm starts losing where it gets its energy, which is the ocean here. This is no longer a hurricane. It is no longer a tropical system. It is now a hybrid storm, and in fact, it's now post-tropical, what we call nor'easters from the mid-Atlantic up into the northeast. So it gets its energy from the differences in temperature here. And boy, do we have them. We have very cold air to the north and west, warm and tropical air to the south and east. And so Sandy's actually glad to be inland because it's merging here with a jet stream and with an upper level disturbance. So everything's coming together for this to continue to be a mess through the overnight. We're still going to get very heavy rainfall. The snow, as you saw coming down in just incredible amounts here across the portions of the Appalachians. So we'll have just incredible pictures over the next couple of days. And the winds are still going to be howling. There you see some of the snowfall. The accumulations upwards of 18 inches so far. We're going to be talking about generally accumulations anywhere from 2 to 3 feet. Again, this is just, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. We're tracking a hurricane and we're tracking a blizzard at the same time, and this is all from the same storm. This is why we're calling it a superstorm here. This has never happened before, and I'll tell you, Victor and Frederica, it is very possible that we will never see this again in our lifetime here. This is one of those events that is just very rare. The conditions that made this don't come around very often. As you know, the last event back was in 1991, and again, that superstorm in Halloween didn't even make landfall here. Now, the good news is I can bring you is that the tide, we've been talking about that. So for coastal sections here in New York, the tide is now going out so that seawater flooding has abated now, and so we're receding that. The problem with that is that we have another high tide coming up in the morning, and that could bring renewed flooding, so we're going to have to watch that very closely. But again, it's going to be a long night. We'll be here with you throughout and keep you posted as the new information comes in. But still, a blockbuster storm, not weakening at all.
Yeah, and Ivan, any idea when that next high tide approximately would be?
The high tide's coming up around 9 a.m., and so I don't think we're going to see the just incredible flooding that we saw with a 13.3 record that had never been seen at Battery Park, but we are going to be seeing the potential for some flooding as that tide comes in because the winds are still going to be coming from the same direction here, so we'll have to watch that very closely. I think in the morning we're going to start seeing some incredible pictures, and the scope of Sandy is really going to be brought to light here, guys.
All right, India superstorm. We're talking about 900 miles to 1,000 miles wide. It's pretty extraordinary.
60 million
impacting an awful lot of places here.
60 million people.
All right, thanks so much, Ivan. Appreciate that. We'll check back with you. So at this point, many people are being forced to ride out Sandy in the dark now. 5.3 million people without power, and that includes tens of thousands of people in lower Manhattan and Staten Island after a transformer exploded, as you see right there at the Con Edison plant on 14th Street. Take a look at pretty extraordinary video there. Con Edison vice president says workers don't know exactly what caused that massive blowout, but we are talking about an area that services an awful lot of people in New York City. Take a glimpse of the situation communities and utility companies are dealing with right now. Power outages all up and down the East Coast, from Virginia and D.C. to Maine, impacting an awful lot of folks. New York and New Jersey alone account for nearly a half of the power outages that we're seeing.
Yeah, and this superstorm slammed right into the Jersey Shore as it made landfall just 2 hours ago. And Sandy has been relentless and is taking a deadly toll, unleashing extreme winds, dangerous surge of floodwaters. Actually, right now, as we speak, police say at least 3 people have died from fallen trees. 2 of those deaths in Mendham Township, about 30 miles west of New York City. And New Jersey Governor Chris Christie repeatedly warned people about the potential dangers earlier.
I'm very disappointed in the fact that some decided to disregard my instruction, in fact my order, and I'm concerned that it might lead to the loss of life.
And also tonight, reports of homes flooded under several feet of water, and several rescues are underway, including those stranded in their cars. In the cars, imagine, while trying to escape.
I'm scared to death. So many people are going to die today.
Authorities are working to evacuate hundreds of areas, West Atlantic City, hundreds of people there where waters are dangerously high.
All right, let's check in with emergency crews in New Jersey now, if we can. Joining us on the phone right now, Jeffrey Paul, Emergency Management Director from Morris County, New Jersey. So, Jeffrey, update us right now on the latest. How many people without power? What are you able to do? What kind of assistance can you provide?
Thank you, Frederica. Currently in Morris County, we have a significant power issue going on as a result of the strong winds that have hit us very hard here. Our power company services 196,404 people, and currently we have 163,909 without power. So we have about 83% of the power service delivery in our county without power at this point. So it really hit us significantly. Our call volume at our 911 center doubled at about 8 o'clock this evening. Currently they had about 3,000 calls for the day at the 911 center, so it's been an extremely busy day. We had 2 deaths as a result of a tree falling on a car, a family of 4, 2 children and their parents. The children escaped with minor injuries, but the parents unfortunately succumbed to the tree falling on their car. So we've had a pretty devastating day in Morris County. The emergency service providers have been taxed to the max. We've had the firemen that have been trapped in their fire trucks as a result of downed wires all around them. We currently have a firehouse where the firemen are simply trapped inside the firehouse because they can't go out due to live wires around the firehouse. So there's a lot going on here. Our operations center is extremely busy, but people are doing a great job, and we're going to work through it throughout the evening and into tomorrow.
Well, the mayor added that some low-lying areas in Manhattan could see extraordinary amounts of water. That includes the city's public transit system, where flooding has been confirmed inside some subway stations. I want to go now to WABC reporter Jeff Begaze. He was on the scene when nearly an entire city block in Queens caught fire. Jeff, thanks for being with us. Tell us exactly where you are and what you saw as this all started.
Victor, I'm in a place called Rockaway Park, and this is a part of Queens, essentially an island that's wedged between Jamaica Bay and the Atlantic Ocean, and it's south of Brooklyn, south of Manhattan. And with the storm at high tide tonight, both Jamaica Bay and the Atlantic Ocean converged, and there was water. It seemed like the water was everywhere, but then another problem popped up, and that was a major fire. There was a fire in this area of Rockaway Park that was consuming not only businesses but apartment buildings as well. And this is a flood-prone area and yet there were still residents here. They hadn't heeded the calls to evacuate. They were here. They were going to ride out the storm, but then this fire happened, and then members of this specialized New York Fire Department unit had to go in and rescue them. And I saw these guys. There were about 5 to 10 of them. They were wading through high water. They had a Zodiac boat with them. And they had to scale some of these buildings to get to some of the people who were trapped in their apartment buildings as this fire was spreading. And because of the high water, the fire department couldn't get their hoses and any water on these fires. Just because it was at the height of the storm, so these members of the specialized unit had to go in without all that, wade through the high water, scale some of these buildings, break through windows, get into these apartments, and then usher some of these residents down into the water and then walk them through water to higher ground. And there wasn't a lot of high ground to find, but they were able to find some, and they got these people out. We're talking maybe as many as 30 to 40 people rescued over the course of about 3 or 4 hours. Right now, as the water has receded, the fire department has been able to get water on this fire, so they're hoping that it doesn't spread further. But one firefighter was telling me that they think maybe as many as 4 or 5 buildings have already been consumed by this fire.
Jeff, you say that they're trying to get water on the fire. That leads me to believe that it's still burning right now. Is that true?
It is still burning, and the danger is, of course, that it will continue to spread with the embers blowing in the wind. There are some other fires popping up in the area, and the concern is that they don't get this thing under control, and soon it could spread, causing even more damage.